Well, I don't know who's been lying to you, but the LMG class is definitely by far the best long-range weapons for fully automatic guns inside Battlefield REDSEC. And if you've not tried any of the LMGs out by now, then you're definitely missing out, to be completely honest with you. So I highly recommend leveling them up and getting a hold on at least a few of them. This video is going to go over which ones have the fastest time to kill inside Battlefield REDSEC. We made the exact same video for the Battlefield multiplayer and that video did really well, so we tried to make this again, but in terms of higher HP pools, and obviously if there was any adjustments in between that, but none of these weapons really got adjusted, to be honest, because the LMGs are just still super strong. Now the reason why they're so good, and we'll discuss this later on in this video, is because the least amount of bloom that you get for a fully automatic weapon, the fact that you can mount these up and they're just super accurate, the mag capacity, as well as the fact that the recoil on some of these guns is insanely low, like non-existent to some extent. Let's start off with the numbers as we usually do. So as you can see, we've got all the guns here with all the ranges, all the time to kills. The time to kills here are for chest shot, body shots only, so it's going to be only body shots, and obviously landing headshots does reduce your time to kill and things like that, but we want to keep this very simple and easy to understand. On top of that, this is for 200 HP, which is essentially 2 armor plates. You can get time to kills for obviously no armor plates and obviously 1 armor plate as well, but we want to keep this very simple, and best case scenario is an enemy has full armor plates equipped, and that's kind of the one that you kind of want to take the most note of. So organizing these time to kills now for the fastest time to kill at the 10 to 40 meter range, because let's be honest, no one's using an LMG between 0 to 10 meters. And as you can see, the M123K comes out on top, and to be honest, it comes out on top most of the time in terms of time to kills up to range. But you can see it's doing really well. It's a pretty respectable and pretty quick time to kill, to be fair. This competes with most carbines and also assault rifles respectively as well, so you're really not lacking in that 10 to 40 meter range for time to kill. So let's take a look at the 40 to 80 meter mark now, and as you can see, the M250 comes out on top, and this is a really solid gun. A 652 millisecond time to kill at those ranges is pretty insane, to be honest. This is better than most ARs, carbines, and even some of the DMRs as well, to be honest with you, if you're firing them relatively slowly. But overall, this is a very solid gun. Bullet velocity is respectable, which can be bumped up with some attachments. Rate of fire is pretty slow, but that's quite good actually when you're trying to control your shots. And the mag capacity is 50 rounds, but to be honest, if you're tap firing this gun, you won't really notice it at all. But most of your engagements will be within this range, and this is probably one of the most important ones. As you can see, the M123K comes out second and the DRS is third, and you kind of probably see this as a reoccurring theme for most of the TTKs for this video. And getting on into the 80 to 120 meter range, which is the farthest possible range, I recommend using weapons like this. But of course, there will be certain scenarios where you will want to kind of shoot further than that, but like I said, this is the adequate range for LMGs. M250 again, M123K again, DRS once again. Now again, having the M250 as a 694 millisecond time to kill, especially if you're considering this is only chest shots, by the way, that is insane numbers. That is a ridiculously quick time to kill for pretty much any gun. So if you just want to have some really good long range time to kill, then the M250 seems like a solid pick. Now this, of course, is a TTK video, but I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't actually show you these two other weapons as well. First of all, we've got the RPKM, and I want to show you the recoil of this gun. As you can see, it's very straight vertical recoil, and it kind of caps off at a certain point as well. But also the weapon bloom is not the greatest as well, so you can see it's very low weapon bloom, which means you're going to be hitting your shots like an absolute laser at range. Now this is pretty much the base gun. I've just unlocked the RPKM, or well, I've had it unlocked for a while, but I've not really leveled this gun up in any way. And as you can see, it absolutely destroys even if you're just continuously firing the weapon, which means that it's going to be an absolute laser at range, and it does still output really solid amounts of damage if you're comparing it to assault rifles or carbines. So even though it doesn't stack up the best on the LMG TTK list, it doesn't mean it's not good TTKs in general. Next up, I do want to show you this gun as well, which is the KTS, and probably or arguably the best long range gun in the game, especially since it's super easy to control. So this is me just firing the weapon full auto, not touching the analog stick whatsoever. As you can see, hardly any bloom, a big mag, and also basically no recoil, right? So this gun is a straight laser. If you just pull down your analog stick, even just a respectable amount, then you're going to be landing shots and getting easy kills, right? And the good thing about LMGs in this game is that the bullet velocity is better than most of the other guns, and you can even get them up to close to like 900, which is going to compete with DMRs and sniper rifles. So this is just really, really solid, and LMGs in this game are almost pretty broken in my opinion, and I could probably see them getting a slight nerf. Now, I can almost confidently say that you won't be disappointed with any of the LMGs in this game, but we're going to point out the 3 top TTK ones just because these are the ones that kill the quickest. And first up, we've got the DRS, right? The DRS feels the closest to an assault rifle in the entire game. So if you want something that's basically an assault rifle in the LMG class, then this is the one you want to go for. It does have insanely good time to kills, as you've seen on the list. The recoil is not too bad. It's not quite as easy to use as some of the others, but it's still very respectable and probably will beat most of the ARs in the game anyways. And also, like I said, it's got the best mobility and does get the benefits of faster bullet velocities as well, because it is an LMG at the end of the day. So overall, DRS is definitely an assault rifle replacement. Next up, we've got the M123K, and this one comes out second in terms of long range time to kills. It's a pretty solid gun in terms of TTK in general. Now, it does have a bit more spread than the other ones I've shown you, especially the KTS and the RPKM. But if you are tap firing the gun, then you will still get insanely good time to kills, and just make sure you're kind of compensating for the bloom as much as you possibly can, especially when you build out this weapon, which I'll leave a recommendation on screen just now. But overall, it is a solid LMG. You're going to get really good time to kill numbers, and overall, if you do upgrade it with some attachments, it's still going to feel really strong. If you want raw TTK at range with a full auto gun, then the M250 is pretty much your only option, to be honest with you, because the numbers that this gun outputs in terms of TTK or range is some of the ones you'd find at close range with other weapons. So this goes across all weapon classes, carbines, assault rifles, LMGs themselves as well. And I think that's pretty insane when you think about it, but you do need to tap fire this gun as well, of course, because it is a little bit more in terms of the bloom and recoil side. But you can build that out with attachments, make it a bit more accurate, and make sure you tap fire the gun as well, just to make sure that you're landing every single shot. But this gun is an absolute beast, man. So just to wrap up this video, when it comes to the LMGs, I think a lot of people have been commenting on my previous videos saying that they like the L110, they like a lot of the other LMGs as well that I've not mentioned in this video, and I think pretty much all of them are pretty solid choices, to be honest with you, in their own respective way. They all have really good long range time to kills, they all have relatively low bloom, especially when you're comparing it to carbines and assault rifles, which is basically the direct competitive classes. And overall, I just think you won't be disappointed with most of these anyway. Now, if you play support, then you're obviously going to get the proficiency as well, which helps out an absolute ton, and I think that is definitely the way to go. But even if you're running assault or any other class, you could definitely run the LMGs and still do really well, because having faster ADS times in the Battle Royale with an LMG is really not too important, because you know that you're going to be using these guns at range, and the likelihood is you've picked up a secondary weapon that can do the close range damage for you, whether it's a carbine, whether it's an SMG, or whether you've got a close range AR or just any other ground loot weapon to cover that kind of closer range for you. So you do know that you're going to be using the LMG for range, and you've picked up another weapon to compensate for that closer range engagement anyways. So having a slow ADS time and using some of the other classes with LMGs is still not really that big of a con anyway. So overall, you could play any class you want with the LMGs and still perform really well on Battlefield REDSEC. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.